Admittedly, I've been toying with the idea of doing a video for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long it's been. I think the last thing I did was on the 4th? I don't know, somewhere around that time. I even have like a list of things I wanted to talk about, but I've just kind of not done it. I'm a habitual procrastinator, and I found other things that have occupied my time. Finally got cable and don't use the computer much except for Reddit and Facebook, and that's about it. Pretty much attached to my phone. But I figured I'd go ahead, I'm in bed fixing to go to sleep, but I figured I'd do something real quick. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. Lots of things in the news. Politics mostly, and then the stuff last week with the shooting in Colorado, which was a pretty freaking huge event. And I really would say though that I think it got really blown up because of the fact that it was the only thing on the news for this entire week so far, since last Friday. And there's no condoning it. It's like, well, this crazy crap happened, and how do you get past that? I was watching a report the other day. Anderson Cooper was talking to this girl who tried to save, I think it was a little 6-year-old girl who she babysat, and it really hit home because she's talking about this, little girl who, I've got a 6-year-old daughter, and it's the first time since seeing these reports that I've actually gotten emotional about it and thought really hard about, how would I have reacted to these kind of things. And I really have no way of, I don't think anybody really has a realistic idea of how they would react to something like this unless it actually happened to them. I've heard reports of boyfriends diving on top of their girlfriends to protect them, to save their lives. One guy ditched his family and bolted out of the theater. I think it was his wife and his kids, and he just tore ass out of there. Then you've got the people for, gun laws and crap saying, well, if I had my gun, I would have been able to, take out the guy. And while there is a potential for that, if it was like a special forces person who was trained in this kind of counterinsurgency, whatever you want to call it, someone trained to combat someone like this, used to tear gas, used to being able to operate under a stressful situation, then yeah, okay, maybe that's more agreeable, understandable. But considering this was a packed theater, in fact, two theater rooms, they had was it 8 and 9, something like that. But a lot of people running around going crazy. This guy was in full body armor, and it would have been difficult for someone to accurately address the situation, unless it just so happened that in this crazy rare, I don't want to say rare event, we're starting to see it more and more often, but in this kind of a crazy event, that the chance that there would be someone in the theater with tactical training to handle this, it's not a realistic thought to say, yeah, well, if it was me, I would have done this. Hindsight is 20/20 with any situation, and it's, if you're not expecting a stressful situation, which a lot of people don't, and you're not trained to handle it, then what are you really going to do? How are you really going to handle something like this? And it's just a crazy event to think about. And before that, I was seeing stuff about you got these protesters. I don't even know really how to describe them, but they're these jackasses on the side of the road will hold up these large posters of aborted fetuses. And really, I mean, okay, I agree with freedom of speech, freedom of expression, the foundations of our country. But that's really despicable. That ranks up there with Westboro, um, doing just this ridiculous thing to get attention for a cause that the nation is essentially divided on: pro-choice, pro-life. I'm not a woman. It's not my position to say, yes, you woman, you have the right to get an abortion, and neither is it my right to say, no, you cannot have an abortion, or even some people try to draw the middle ground with, no, you can't get an abortion unless it's this, this, and this, incest, rape, um, the I think someone arguing for the carrying of this child will cause your death and potentially the death of the child itself. So I mean, it's ultimately a moral thing. Um, I don't I don't know. I don't want to say it's not the job of the government, but there has to be some. I mean, it's a medical procedure, so there has to be at least some kind of oversight for that. Just in the fact that if someone does choose to do this, are they going to be physically harmed permanently because of this choice? The emotional side, that's from person to person. Again, this isn't something I am qualified to talk about, as I have no vagina. But, I've had the discussion with various people, um, and again, it's another topic that's widely debated uh, in politics, in health, in really any part of life. Uh, so it's kind of those things. I don't know. It's just an annoying thing to think about how so many issues can become so blown out of proportion, and then people have such an opinion on it that they do things that are just disgusting, and it takes something to disgust me. Um, I joke and I say, I'm from the internet. Yeah, I'm essentially desensitized to a lot of shit, and seeing this, I swear that if it's one of those things that if I did see it on the side of the road, I would probably have words with someone about this because it's offensive. It's like I can compare it, in my opinion, the way I view this is the way a really conservative, religious person reacted to the Sarah Secrets billboards. Show the picture of the cucumber with the eyes on it, and it said "Stop Vegetable Abuse." I find that funny as hell. But we had the lady in Dallas, I think it was the billboard near DeSoto, but complaining about how she sees this on her way to and from church, or some ridiculous excuse or bitching. Um, that ended up making it on the local news, and that was stupid. I still got a screenshot from the news article, or when it was on the news. I just screen capped it from my computer, but because it was just funny. And hell, now I see that same billboard going down 35 or 183, whatever stupid highway I drive on the way home. But in all, I think it was that article on the super conservative woman that was like, "Oh, it's so offensive," and and I respect the opinion. And when I say conservative, I'm not saying conservative like conservative Republican, but a really, it's kind of a negative way to say this, but a really closed off view of the world. Uh, and everybody who knows me knows that I am not a religious person. Not at all. I haven't quite taken the step to say I'm an atheist, but I'm pretty damn close. There is a guiding force in the universe, and I can attest to that. I mean, essentially, it's when you learn something, you see more of the universe, you see more of the world, you see more of life that occurs. And, it's these kind of things that, these events, like um, the shooting and these just the offensive material that we see daily. That really, it comes down to one's personal ability to handle it, accept it, critique it, whatever. Now, I don't want to compare this horrible shooting to an adult novelty store, but it was kind of a weird segue. But it's these things we see nowadays that someone will freak out over the slightest thing, and then it becomes a big deal because someone of the minority uh, became uh, publicly outspoken about it. And I think really right now the politicians, especially Obama, Romney, are doing the right thing by not taking a stance on it. I mean, essentially, it's political suicide for them to talk about it, especially right now. But the gun control, and but a lot of the cable news and guys on Comedy Central are saying, yes, we should talk about it. And I say there is room for discussion. Gun control in one form or another, whether it be reducing one's allotment of allowable guns, or registration of guns. And really, I don't own a gun. I want to get one, but I don't own one. And most of my family has various forms of weaponry, usually just handguns, shotguns, that kind of thing. I think it is a little extreme to have like an AR or an AK or whatever. An automatic or semi-automatic firearm. But again, that's my opinion. And when it comes to guns, it's a very touchy topic because being from the South, guns are guns. They're everywhere. Usually, those who advocate the strongest for them are hunters, and I respect that. I've been hunting before. It would be kind of annoying to use a dart gun or throw in a dagger or something at a deer. That would suck. But although it's an interesting idea, I'd like to get a crossbow. Well, not a crossbow, like a regular compound bow. But I'm broke. Well, not broke, but I'm poor-ish. I'm definitely not the 1%, or the 2%, or fuck, I'm barely even the top 10%, bottom 10%. So, but it's just the weird things we see in life. I don't even want to just say the media, just in life, that people have such a diverse opinion on it because people are diverse. It is part of humanity. Adapt and overcome. Evolution, things like that. It's just part of our world. And I just really think that we should really take a step back and analyze kind of what we are complaining about these days. Is it important? Because it probably isn't in the grand scheme of things. Regardless of what kind of fate system or faith system you believe in, if you're going to complain about tiny things, make sure it's worth it. I know I complain about all kinds of crap that isn't worth it. Some of it's idle complaints just to speak, some of it not so much. But I think really we just need to look at things differently. look at things in a way that is appropriate for the development of humanity, not just my little group that I'm in. And that's kind of my rant. I think I'm almost out of time on my phone here. I've only got so much space left. But I think I just wanted to. I just kind of wanted to add, just put that in there, and maybe just throw in a video. I think everybody's got their own way of addressing current events, and we will see what happens. I'm personally interested in what caused this guy to go and do what he did. If he broke because of stress in his life or what. So we'll see. We will see. And, on another note, there was something I was going to say. What was it going to be? It was something not important. I wrote it down and some other stuff about something. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the internet because that's what I do. And I would really like feedback. I mean, I don't like confrontation. I'm a peaceful guy. But, if there's anybody watching this and willing to provide me some constructive criticism, don't just fucking bitch at me. I would like it, Give me something to work with. Don't just complain. Anyways, so yeah. Hot dog. Good night. Okay, button, go.